Guru.
Yes.
And all the chairs of COG have come here. We have said, if you went to Homa Bay for devolution conference and you attended and you are charged 1 million and you are there and there's evidence to show that you are there, I mean, that's okay. It was an event. If you went to court on litigation on RMLF and there was a fee note which was passed down to counties, that's okay. You can explain it. But for bureaucratic and administrative management of the Council of Governors, the law has already provided for mechanisms for that financing. And until we change the law, and until we vacate the resolution of the Senate, this is an illegal expenditure where we shall recommend a surcharge, and we are working with EACC on how this surcharge can be effected.
Yeah, just buttress what you...
Chairman,
just a minute. First, listen. I think, at least listen. I think this is one thing you came armed with, saying leo wataniona kwa hii maneno.
Chair, you have said
yes,
time and again, and I agree with you, that law is not a suggestion. It is just law. And there can be no justification as to why you can breach the law. And so, Chair, I agree with you that we must work with the EACC to make sure that that person who is making that payment is held responsible and is surcharged on his earnings and remunerations and even gratuity, so that we stop this. There is no justification to breaching the law.
Well, Governor, let me...
They don't believe we have...
Order, Governor.
Yeah.
You might benefit from this. When you are not in office as Governor in the last Parliament, I'm the one who presented a report to the House called the Fiduciary Risks Report, version 1. And it had this recommendation. When the House adopted this recommendation, the COG did a fundraiser collecting 2 million from counties. What was the purpose of the 2 million from counties? To take the Senate and my report to court. The COG never went to court, collected the money and never refunded to counties. How did we know? When we put Orengo to task on this, he brought us a letter from the COG Secretariat saying that arising from the resolution of the Senate on fiduciary risk report, suggesting that contributions to COG are illegal, we therefore request that you contribute 2 million to the legal fund to challenge the matter in court. The matter was not challenged in court. The money was collected, and so the position of the Senate remains unchanged. That happened while you are out of office. I hope your colleagues will tell you that story. Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Chair. I hear both sides of the argument, and I agree with both, and this is why. You know, first of all, Governor, the only institution recognized by the Constitution to make laws that are binding is Parliament. So the Council of Governors is not a law-making entity. So whatever resolutions they pass, they are not binding in law. They just a resolution, they can pass resolutions, but the law as is that the COG should be funded from the consolidated fund. All of us may have an agreement that, you know, that fund, as you say, nothing comes out of it. Now, where is the mismatch? The mismatch is the Council of Governors, composed of governors and the Secretariat. You know that there is a problem, there is a gap in funding. But you know you cannot make a law on how to fund the entity. But you know you can approach Parliament for a legislative intervention for the law to be changed to allow another revenue stream for the Council of Governors. The other day I had very serious conversations with the senior counsel, Senator Mogeni. Senator Muma had proposed a law on the e-cigarettes. And in that law, she has assigned a responsibility to the Council of Governors. Then we're asking ourselves, okay, so On the one hand, we are giving responsibility to COG, but we are not facilitating them to undertake those responsibilities. And on the other hand, we are saying, no, you people, you cannot spend money by making contributions to the COG Secretariat without a law. So I think the problem here is a mismatch between what we all know needs to happen, but somebody needs to move the legislative bodies, the Senate, the National Assembly, to look for a funding mechanism for the COG. As it were today, that funding mechanism is through the consolidated fund. And there's nothing else you can do about that. It's a law, it's what it is.
It is a law as is. I know there's an amendment that is before the Senate. Until that amendment is processed, we shall maintain the position that we have maintained. And if you want to make your life easy, do what your other colleagues have done. Ask COG to invoice you for specific activities. There were years when COG was charging rent. Governors were taking up space at Delta House at twice the market rate. And many governors complained. They got out of that arrangement and went and got offices elsewhere and got better value. I visited some of those governors' offices there. They are as bad as senators' offices here. So it was not worth the money. So if you're going to contribute to COG, let it be for specified activities. The only reason the Treasury is not allocating you resources is because you have proven that you can raid the CRF. But CRF was for other purposes: water, medication, agriculture, roads. It was not to get a 20th floor office there in Westlands. So I think that is our position. You may have your views, but the Senate has taken a resolution on it. If you would have come with a breakdown demonstrating the activities, we would have looked at it from another perspective. That is what Anne Waiguru has done before us. That is what a few governors have done, and we have said, yes, you went, there was the Evolution Conference in Homa Bay, your county participated, you paid the fee, and that is excusable. But it can't just be blanket.
Okay, Chair, I hear you, senators. You've resolved the way you've resolved. My plea is, let's look at the broader picture as we do some of these things, and as we say this is a law and that's how we are going to stick to it. If we had followed that law, or the 3.2 billion Kenya shillings road maintenance levy fund we got because we used the money counties contributed to COG to go to court, we would not have gotten it. Like Kitui County, we got 152 million.
Just maybe for order, because then
if you pay 3 million,
I've already mentioned that.
Yeah,
and if there is any fee note, yes, then it can be escalated to the Council of Governors.
That is justifiable.
And then you fundraise amongst the governors.
Yeah, I've heard you, and I stand guided. Not that your guidance, I will not take it. COG is an institution which is created in law, and that is where the money went. Albeit, as you say, not according to the way it should be done.
Governor, you have said more on this than on more important things that you have dealt with today. So we had 151 million spent by the municipality without reporting. You said less. We had 151 million on national government projects spent by your government. You said less than you are saying on the 3.2. We had 1.09 billion in terms of uncollected rates. You said less. We had pending bills running into hundreds of millions. Contingent liabilities of 352 million. X-ray machines, 70 million. Oxygen, 14.5 million. Kabati, or was it 18 million? And yet you have chosen that your point of reference and battle is going to be the COG?
Yeah, let's leave it there. So that
You even said less on Kitui referral maternity of 104 million. So let this matter rest. Senator
Chair, let me ask, Governor, what is so difficult in you guys legalizing this contribution? Because we've said it over the years. What is the difficulty? And I think until maybe somebody is surcharged with that payment is when Council of Governors will actually toe the line.
I think the surcharge route is not the solution. Because once you go there, if you take me to ESCC and ECSC takes me to court, we'll go through the court process up to the Supreme Court. I don't know how many years it will take. They may find me guilty or they may not find guilty. And I'm not referring necessarily to myself, it's to all governors, including the ones who served and they left. Because you can't charge that currently and you don't charge all the governors. And maybe the court will consolidate the entire case. So what as legislators, and I'm happy, there's something which the chair said, that there's an amendment you are proposed, maybe to legalize this. Please, Chair, Chair of PAC, where we are normally rostered on this, you help us.
Why don't you do it yourselves?
No, we are not legislators.
Governor, you are the ones who always throw us under the bus. Whenever we do something positive, even on the budget, when we agree to raise the ceiling, you go and negotiate with the executive and come back and throw us under the bus. You accept a lower rate. You can't actually use Senate when you need something from us. But when we need you, you are not there for us. Why can't you negotiate yourselves or initiate the process? We have actually given you advice on how to do it. The law is very clear. Why can't you do it yourselves instead of looking for Senator Kajwang?
Chair, I am on record appreciating the Senate. You are not here. The first part, where actually we spend a lot more time than the things we are discussing now, is about these pronouncements which were made recently in Homa Bay and yesterday. And my position is very clear. Senate is a defender of devolution, and whenever some of us are participating, would usually say, let's stay on the same side with the Senate. But we stand advised. If it cannot be initiated by a member,
let me help
we
you.
can also do
Let me help you, Governor. I think there's already an amendment that provides for the Council of Governors. Actually, it delinks the COG from IGRTC because the current law ties the two. Actually, the COG is almost like one is a secretariat to the other. IGRTC had proposed that they become a commission. And I think that's one of the contentious things around that amendment, because they don't want to be called a technical committee, they want to be called a technical commission. And with provisions almost similar to those that call 255 or 250 commissions. So that's a bit contentious. It also provides for CAF, because on the assembly side, there's also the issue of CAF, that it is not anchored in law. So I believe that amendment, if it has not gone through the Senate, it is in very advanced stages. I wish this was a conversation in Homa Bay, not all the things that ended up getting the headlines, because I never heard anybody talk about this. I never heard about anyone talk about the status of that piece of legislation. So let's also try to change the narrative, because at the end of the day, that COG, I think 1/3 are former senators or former members of National Assembly. So there should not be acrimony. The Senate is headed by a former governor. A few members of my committee here, God willing, are going to be governors. But we know that the law as is must be applied. If you want the law as it ought to be, then you need to change the existing legislation. So let that be the conversation within COG. we are not hostile. Our job here is to interpret the law as it is. That is our job. As it ought to be, we leave it to the political rallies. So this matter, the resolution adopted by the Senate in the first fiduciary risk report still applies. We are still in discussion with EACC on how to effect this, and maybe in the multi-agency task force, the new baby in town on corruption. And you know, agenda number 3 or 4 in the MOU between ODM and UDA is a fight against corruption. And Agnes Zani and the team already have a subcommittee on that. Now there's a multi-agency task force. So, you know. Fine, those are executive decisions. The last thing we are dealing with is also an issue that tells a bit about your arrangements on financial management. That is internal audit and audit committee. You appointed an internal audit committee on 4th of April, and as a result, the audit work plans were in draft because there was no audit committee to approve them, and the number of internal auditors were less. There were 10 instead of 23. And 2 members had not been appointed. What is the current status, Governor, of your internal audit committee?
All members have been appointed. I even inaugurated them. We organized an inauguration meeting. But with respect to the number of staff in the audit department of the county government, we are very careful when it comes to increasing staff. As it has been said by senators here, when we are talking about legal, we have requested the Director of Internal Audit, and is here, try to make do with what you have currently. But we are considering maybe further recruitments in departments where that is highly deserved. Because if we are not careful, we will be at 60% wage bill. And if you ask yourself, couldn't that work have been done by less officers? You'll find yes. Of course, whenever the auditors come and internal auditors, they say, oh, they have establishment of 23 and we have only 13. It sounds like there's nothing. So we are asking them.
Governor, I think the more important thing is not even the number. Have the work plans now been approved? Because it is the audit committee that approves the internal audit work plan.
Well, the convener of the audit committee is a chair of the audit committee. I must be honest because I like being straightforward. I need to check where they are. So then, if they have not moved, we also request them to move. But they are the ones who will approve the work plan. I don't think it's supposed to be approved by the county executive committee.
Well, you are the appointing authority. That's why you have two. There was an alternate representing the governor and county treasury, 2 members that are appointed directly by you, beside the other external members. So definitely as CEO, you've got some oversight on this. Now, instead of dealing with what the governor said and what we said, OAG, do you have a view on this, or you can look at it in the substantive audit?
Chair, we can look at it later.
Okay, but is there any interim evidence that something is happening?
Yes. The audit committee has been constituted, but gazettement of the 2 committee members is what is outstanding.
So even the unveiling was done prior to gazettement? Because the governor says he unveiled the audit committee.
Yeah, he said 2 have not been gazetted, the representative of the governor and maybe the CC. and the law does not specifically, but let me be advised.
I think, Governor, it's safer to say you will go back and make sure the law is complied with.
No, if it is the law, I will comply with it. But I must say that's an area, if I were asked, as I'm being asked, should you gazette them? Really, the guidelines which I saw didn't say so, but you will gazette if we need to gazette.
Yeah, because a lot of the things you are dealing with here, if you had an internal audit, if you had an audit committee and proper internal audit functions, some of these things will not be escalated to the Senate. And that's a value that the audit committee and internal auditors deliver to you. So keep this in view, OAG. You can report substantively. Honorable members, the last thing is on asset management. I think, again, what was your recommendation, OAG? To keep it in view?
Yes, because it's work in progress.
Okay, and of course, progressively as we go into accrual, this is going to be extremely important. I think year one, we are talking of recognition of financial assets. What is the timeline for recognition of fixed assets? Treasury?
Thank you, Chair. By the third year, everything should be recognized and they should be reporting in accrual. So in the second year, they should have identified all the assets they have.
Okay, failure to which they'll be getting adverse and disclaimer opinions. Fine, and I think we agreed even at Evolution Conference that there needs to be some incentive for prudent financial management. We didn't build it into the formula, but the formula can be amended any time by a majority of senators. This brings us to the end of the issues that were presented in the Auditor General's report. I think we have spent a lot of time and given Kitui a lot of time, maybe because people are fresh from recess, but I hope that this conversation has been of value. To the County Assembly, you now realize you can do it. It is not rocket science, yeah? And to the County Executive, I hope you see the value in this conversation. It should not be what people said yesterday, that governors waste time coming to Nairobi. So, honorable members, we bring this to a close with closing remarks, if any. We can donate our time to the Senator Kitui, but I'm going to ask before Senator Kitui, the Chair of Public Accounts, is there anything you or any of your members want to say?
We would like to thank you for the good time we have to be here together, and we promise that the next time we meet, we shall have made progress. Then lastly, in the course of our interrogation, we were joined by the fifth member of the committee, who can go on record.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Paul Maluki, MCA representing Kwamutonga Kidhumula Ward, Kitui West, and a member of Public Accounts and Investment Committee. And I'd like to thank you sincerely for the good job that you are doing. And also request that in the near future, I want to agree with what the former Prime Minister said, that we need to devolve education fully, primary and secondary, to counties, so that now we will not be having issues of playground being coming out as Auditor General's query, whereas ECD centers are in primary schools and playgrounds are in the same schools. I thank you.
I will not wade into that debate, but if counties were to demonstrate prudence, effectiveness in management, execution and delivery of functions assigned to them, then I believe the nation would agree with that proposal. I think we are still at early stages. We need to give each other time to mature. The clerk of this committee, please make sure you get a copy of our recommendations so that when this committee starts consideration, they are not starting from scratch and they are not asking the questions that we've already asked. That way, you'll be much more efficient and faster. Governor, remarks in closing?
Yeah, Chairman, let me take this opportunity on behalf of myself and the team I came with from Kitui County to thank you and the members of the Senate and the auditors and the other institutions which are represented here for the engagement we have had. This has been very productive, even when we appeared like we are expressing a view which is not the one in conformity with the law. In the process, we've been made to learn and to appreciate certain things, and the recommendations made for us to do certain things, we will go and endeavor those are done for the benefit of other people of Kitui County. Thank you very much and God bless.
Senator Kitui, closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I also want to take this opportunity to first to thank you, Chair, for according my county sufficient time to process all the issues that have been raised by the Office of the Auditor General. I thank my colleagues for their patience. You remember, it's like we've been here for the whole day. I thank you for that. I thank the team from Kitui, led by our governor, for the engagement that we have had. And this goes to demonstrate, Chair, how these things should be done. Anybody else thinking that there is another way of doing this oversight, and I don't even know what they're thinking about. But I believe that both parties leave this room with something, you know. You have learned something. You have also opened our eyes on issues that maybe we did not know, now we know. The recommendations that have been made, the municipality, you know, go and fly, you know, the county assembly, be seized of these audit reports, and when there is need, then the office of the OIG is ready to assist. The secretariat, the Senate secretariat, is always ready to help you, you know, process these documents. It makes work easier for everyone. And to the governor and the executive, I think we've had a very candid conversation. We're happy about this, Chair, and I thank you for your time. God bless you.
Thank you, Senator. And I hope that the entire team, there's been some learning, but I look forward to the day when the assembly will tell us that they've already done this exercise, so that when the governor comes here, we are discussing bigger policy issues with regards to devolution, transform functions, financing, and generally how to strengthen devolution. It is not really, we don't feel happy here discussing how 2 million shillings has not been recovered from people who are basically thieves, collected money from markets, from borders, pocketed it, and then we are treating it as a loan. You know, that's a conversation that the county assembly really ought to drive. And I hope that your CEC, having been the leader of majority, is acting as a bridge rather than a wall between the executive and the assembly. Chairman Park, is a CEC a bridge or is a wall?
I cannot say either, but he's a good man.
So there's a tool called impeachment that is available to you in the event it becomes a wall. If it's a bridge, then it would help.
There was one, but we forgive him.
So he's a marked man. Yeah, so please, nyinyi mwashe moto chini, sisi tunawasha moto juu. Because there is no reason, there is no way with the 13-14 billion that you should fail to deliver on some of the services. I know Kitui is very vast. Your senator has been quite emphatic that if there was going to be a constitutional amendment on alteration of county boundaries, Kitui would be one of the primary counties to be split. I sponsored the county boundaries bill, and in my literature review, I realized that Kitui was split just a few months after the 1992 cutoff. And so perhaps Kitui felt cheated because then you would have gotten 2 counties. But your senator is passionate about the county. In fact, when he moved the bill on mung beans, people were ridiculing him. In fact, the other house was saying we are so idle that the only thing we think about is ndengu. They've said that in the past. When we are talking about potatoes with India Karue, Aden Duale was on record saying that that house is so idle, they only think about potatoes. But they don't know that these are the economic mainstay of some of the counties that we come from. So I think to support your senator and for your senator to support you is for you to perform with the little that is available. And Governor, we have confidence in you because, as you have stated, you are the architects of the laws that we are using currently. So we expect nothing less than success. And for Senator Kitui, please don't relent. You have always said that this money that we fight for does not go to the governor personally. And I hope it does not find its way to the governor's pocket. This money is supposed to be for the people. And whether the governor is in your party or not, is your friend or not, likes you or not, we must still continue to fight for more resources to go to the county. That is a philosophy and that's a principle that we take when it comes to supporting devolution, that we must make a distinction between the governor and the government, between the governor and devolution. We are committed to that. Your officers must also know that we will also hold them personally liable. It's not just the CEO. If you're a CPA and you are not making proper disclosure, we'll have a conversation with ISPAC. If you're a procurement officer and you're making decisions that result in the county being taken to court and losing money, we shall report you to the relevant body. So I think the perspective we have taken is that it is not just the governor, but other officers. The Public Audit Act has given us the power to even declare someone unfit to hold public